just about to take off here. Memorial Day 2017 road trip. About to head back home to West Virginia. Finally home. Hashtag downtown PKB. I can't believe it's 8:30 right now because it looks really bright out still. But I just got to the hotel. As you can tell, I'm in the mountains, and I got into the room. Room's pretty dope. I'm gonna be here tonight and the next night, and I'm about to set up my backpack here, set up my little workstation so I can get some videos uploaded for you guys. And but before that, I'm actually gonna go smash some food. About to go to Omelet Shop, and this is that place that I have to go to when I come home because honestly, it is such a strange place. Off-brand Waffle House, but yes. On our way to a cemetery here. This is why I come out on my Memorial Day road trips. Headed out here. We're in Brohard, West Virginia, right on the Ritchie County line. Going out to my great-grandfather's grave. A few other relatives are out there too. Got some flags today to take and put out on the grave. This is something my grandparents used to do. Took me out here several times around Memorial Day when I was little. And I guess I continued the tradition. We kind of forgot for a while how to get to the cemetery, and I found it again. And just about every year that I can, since 2009, I've come out here to try to keep the tradition of bringing a flag out. He was in World War I, and we got another relative out here that's actually, I believe was in the Civil War, and I bring one out to him too. Got some extras this year because this is not a very visited cemetery, and there's some other of the veterans that don't normally have flags put out for them. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna be heading to at least 2 other cemeteries today. I had to kind of keep my schedule down. I had a few others I wanted to visit that I'd never been to before, but I kind of procrastinated and didn't call people ahead of time to either get them to lead me out to where the place is, because I don't know how to get there, or in the one case, the guy has a low water bridge. I drove past his house. It looks like the water's up enough. It's over the bridge a little bit. I don't know if I can get this little rental car across it. And I also didn't call him ahead of time to ask permission to drive up through his field. With it being rainy the last few days, I don't know if that's a good idea. So I am almost back to the cemetery now here. And Enterprise Rent-A-Car, if you're watching this video, I apologize. I realize my contract says I will not drive on unpaved, I believe is how you put it, roads. But unfortunately, that is just par for the course here in West Virginia. This is pretty much what you're getting in for. You're gonna have something like this. But anyway, looks like we're doing all right as long as we don't sink in the mud here. Well, I got the rental car up here, but as you can see, it was digging pretty deep into the mud. And just beside that little cabin there, that's just really deep mud. I was afraid if I parked, I knew it wouldn't get the rest of the way up there to the cemetery, but I was afraid if I parked it there, when I came back, it'd be sunk in the mud and wouldn't be able to get out. So, again, sorry, Enterprise. Your car's gonna be filthy when you get it, but you knew I was going to West Virginia. So anyway, I'm going to hike the rest of the way up to the cemetery, go for a visit, and I'll check back in with you guys. Just taking a short break here. In West Virginia, if you want to, you can just set up a video shoot in the middle of the road. Just got down off the hill from the cemetery. Everything went good. Car's intact. Just super muddy. But I realize that a lot of people probably don't understand why I come out to Memorial Day, or go out to cemeteries on Memorial Day. And that's because that's the actual real reason for Memorial Day. Most people don't get that. It used to be called Decoration Day, which makes more sense. It's the day you go out to the cemeteries, decorate the graves. And as I was growing up, especially this cemetery where my grandpa's dad's buried, we would come out here just about every summer. I love taking the road trip. I picked up the tradition of doing it. I really like coming out here because it's just a completely different world than the one I live in. I've always been a city boy. I don't want to be a country boy. But it's nice to see just a couple generations ago how country our family was. And it's just a kind of a pilgrimage almost to come out here every year. Instead of being stressed all the time living in the city, I come out here, clear my mind, get to go to ridiculous places out on a mountain that nobody ever goes to, bring my city car back covered in mud. I'm the least redneck West Virginian you'll ever meet, but this is just something that I'm starting to feel this year is now my duty, not just a hobby for me to come out. Last year I brought my mom out to the cemetery, and now she's in a wheelchair. She was on a walker last year. She's not able to come out anymore. I'm only 31, but I really am the last person in my family that can come visit. So it's more of an obligation now to come out and do this. I'm the last one that can, and I know that's sort of a very old school value, but between me liking genealogy and history, loving the road trip, and just like, that was an eagle, liking to come out here because you can hear a woodpecker too. Liking to come out here because you can hear all these animal noises, but there are no humans, no planes, no cars, nothing. You can't even hear nearby roads. And there's nothing out here other than all these dirt paths that who knows where they go. So it's like going to a different planet. It's backward. I definitely wouldn't want to live here. But I love visiting just for the experience. Alright guys, so I might actually get shot today. I drove out here earlier looking for a cemetery I've never been to. And when I came across this bridge, I went to turn left onto this road, and I noticed the sign that says private drive, private property, no trespassing, which doesn't look like a very good sign if you're trying to get up there. What's kind of puzzling though, I thought I had the wrong bridge, so I just went to the other cemetery, but up that other cemetery I had service, and I checked the map, and I don't. Google actually shows this as a public road, and it, in fact, even though it says private, has a sign right there. So I'm gonna walk up here and see what I find. It looks like it's maybe like a mile walk up here for where I'm trying to go, but maybe because I parked the car there they won't be as mad. But I'm gonna try to find this cemetery. So I just had the weirdest thing happen. I'm flying down Cisco Road here in Ritchie County, West Virginia, and I come around a corner where this narrow one-lane bridge is, and I see this thing in the road just like drop itself down on the ground, like arms spread, and it looked like a pygmy deer from the zoo. And I had already slowed down a lot not to hit it, so I just like parked in the middle of the road, and by the time I got out of the car, it was gone, and I was like, where would it have gone? Like in the time that I got out of the car. And then I looked across the street, and there were like full-size white-tailed deer that were up on the hill, kind of like looking back to see where this other thing was. So I realized that it was a baby deer, but I've never seen one that small ever. And so I don't know if it was like basically a newborn or what, but I took a step into the weeds, and I saw it like cowering down there. I could just see its back. I didn't know I could see it. And then I was like, what do I do? I mean, I guess it'll go. I thought it was by itself, but you know, I see the other deer. I was like, well, hopefully it'll go back there, because I was like, well, if it was by itself, I was gonna take it and like take it to the Department of Natural Resources, but I'd be like, what would I do with this deer, right? Like, because they're closed on Memorial Day. What am I gonna do? Keep it in my trunk or something? I don't know. Like, what would you do? Would it freak out, or would it just ride in the car and be cool? I don't know. But thankfully the other deer were there. I didn't touch it because I thought they might not take it back if I touched it. And I told it to just go back with its family, so hopefully that happened. So this is really bizarre. Came in from that way in this tiny little town. It's called Grantsville, West Virginia. County seat of Calhoun County, and for some reason there is a carnival set up in the middle of the street. I asked here at Tudor's Biscuit World what it was for, and I thought it was a town festival or something, and they're just like, nope, it's just for the town. Comes here and sets up in the middle of the street every year. So I go on the rides, but it doesn't, they're either not open yet or they've already closed. I'm not really sure, but on to Menorah. Okay, so this is sketchy as hell. Coming into the Menorah Cemetery, Calhoun County. Never been here before. Looks like they put a nice road and everything into it, which is great, but man, that bridge. Cell phone service here to see how many greats they are, but I found out that I'm a descendant of them, and the reason that that's important is because they're one of the first ancestors that I found directly and only because of my DNA test through Ancestry. I never had heard those names, nobody did in my family until the DNA linked us up. Share this too. This is this guy here was a Confederate soldier, and he was in the same unit, same company even, as my great-great-great-great-grandfather, Henry Valentine. Now somewhere in this cemetery, and I know it's one of the bigger stones, I'm not sure why I can't find it right now, but there is a Absalom knots. It's gonna frustrate me if I can't find it, but he was Henry Valentine's commander, the commander of the 14th Virginia Cavalry Company, and his stone is up here somewhere. The town we're in right now is called Menorah, and that's actually the name of one of his daughters. The town was named after him. So I don't know
much about the guy, but I know that he was prominent locally, and he actually, well, you know, all these guys served at Gettysburg and were under the command of Jeb Stuart. So, well, unfortunately, it looks like I'm not going to be able to find his stone today, but there is a picture of it on Find a Grave, so I know it's here, and I know it's one of the big ones. But maybe I'll look around a little more before I leave here. I just stopped talking to myself, so these people definitely think I'm crazy by now. Well, I was about to head back, and then had a little more daylight, so decided to come out here and make sure my great-great-grandfather had a flag for his grave. I haven't been out here in 10 or 15 years. Look at those cliffs over there. Those are on the other side of the river. It's so cool. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting here on the stairs of our county courthouse, just looking around. Couldn't find any food, nothing open except McDonald's, so just grabbed some food from the gas station. And I'm sitting down here, and it's just absolutely silent as far as the city goes. And I was hoping that coming down here would get my mind off work and some other things and give me some clarity of mind. I'm so tired, I'm about to pass out, but I think this walking around downtown with literally no one down here is the peace of mind I was looking